Bop! Howdy, hey, this is Frakbox, and I'm here with TruBluBlur.
Long time no see.
So, yeah, we're gonna see how Batman's gonna deal with all these dudes over there.
We've got a bit of an entourage waiting for us.
Do like batarangs, or do we just like...
Well, nothing from this distance will do enough damage to take anyone out. But I can kick a couple of them.
Nice. Oh. They got bats. Oh no, those are like lead pipes.
Yes, they are.
Goodness.
Ow.
So are like... It's interesting that like lead pipes exist. You know what I mean? Because like the Romans used lead pipes, and the lead poisoning is a thing that exists.
Yes.
You know. So like they think that that's a lot of the reason why there were so many like Roman leaders that went crazy is because they had lead poisoning.
That makes sense.
Because there's no safe amount of lead ever. Because basically lead pretends to be other things, or the body thinks it's other things. What's even crazier is that the Romans used lead acetate for their wine. That was wonky. So they actually used lead acetate in their wine.
They literally just drank it.
Yeah, because it's like a sweetener.
Gotcha.
So the lead acetate makes the wine taste sweeter.
I see.
So they were literally just drinking lead.
Crazy.
So like the upper classes were literally just lead poisoning themselves. So you got to be careful if you drink wine from like that far ago, because you'll literally just get lead poisoning.
Crazy.
But yeah, that's why I was so confused when, like, you know, what was that city that was it Michigan? Flint?
Oh.
That had like the lead in the pipes issue.
Yeah.
Because normally they use coatings to make sure that the lead doesn't actually get into the drinking water, because because lead is super common.
Right.
Lead is like super abundant, so it would be nice if we could use lead for more things, because it's really, really common.
But unfortunately, it kills you.
So it's weird to think that we use lead for pipes still. In fact, the word for plumbing, plumbing comes from the Roman word for lead, plumbum.
Oh, gotcha.
That's why it's called plumbing, plumbum. So it's actually named after lead. So theoretically, so long as you put enough of a coating inside the lead pipes, it should be safe for drinking. The problem is a lot of things in water take away that coating.
Yeah, for sure. It's
which was
one of the most corrosive materials on the planet.
Yeah, which is why that was the problem with Flint, Michigan, is that they weren't doing enough maintenance. And they literally switched over the water to basically a corrosive, like it corroded the coating over the lead, so lead was getting in the water. So, which I'm pretty sure that's not fixed still.
No, I don't think it is either.
So, it's the way they solve the problem is by literally putting filters on everyone's taps. That's the way they've been solving the problem. Like the most costly way of doing it.
Instead of just replacing the freaking pipes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it still would be pretty costly to replace the pipes, but, you know, that's not a solution, you know, because now everybody has to keep buying Brita filters. You know, so it's weird. It's why I drink filtered water now.
Yeah.
Because even though we're in Oregon, and people tend to care more about people in Oregon, and our drinking water is pretty good, I don't know how much I trust how much that can happen anymore. So I pretty much, like, for everything, I drink, like, filtered water. So I have, like, a water filter. Very rarely do I drink, like, actual water straight from the tap. I mean, I'll drink tap water, but only if it's filtered, so...
yeah, for me, it depends on which city you're in.
You know what's funny is, I went to Las Vegas a couple months ago.
Oh, yeah.
You remember when I did that, right?
Vaguely.
Yeah, I told you. Because I think I mentioned it in a video that I hate Reno. Because I had to drive through Reno.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I got into Reno because I drove straight from, like, the Salem area of Oregon down down I-5 for a while, and then eventually I turned off and took the route that goes through like southeast Oregon, and then went through a little bit of California, hopped back into Nevada, and then just went straight through Reno, straight down south to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Reno, when I got into town, I'll admit that I was a little bit tired, but I literally almost got hit by another car like twice. I almost got in a car accident like twice in Reno. Never did I have that problem anywhere else.
Right.
Like in the, because I drove for like 9 hours, I think, like 8-9 hours, and then I stopped off in Reno to stay at a hotel. And nowhere along the way, no town I went through. Oh dear. Reno was just, you know, when I was in Las Vegas, everything was fine.
Yeah.
Traffic operated just fine. It's definitely like there's an aggressive energy to the city, like Las Vegas. It's definitely not a place I'd want to live. It's just different.
Yeah.
Like it was very stressful being in Las Vegas because I wasn't there to like gamble or anything.
Right.
I wasn't there to partake. I forget what I was mentioning. Oh, right. So when I was in Reno, the only good part of being in Reno, their water was pretty good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and I actually looked it up. Reno actually has one of the highest rated water systems in the entire United States.
Oh, gotcha.
And I'll believe it, their water was actually pretty okay.
Okay.
Not as good as Oregon water.
Well, I grew up on Portland Bull Run water, so I'm a little spoiled.
Yeah, our water's really, really good.
It is, absolutely. Not in every city, though. Like in McMinnville, where I live now, it's actually kind of gross.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like in Dallas, Oregon, not the Dallas, the water's really good. In the area of Portland I'm in, so I'll taste the tap water from time to time, even though I still filter it. It's still really good. Like pretty much everywhere in Oregon that I've gone, as far as like on the I-5 corridor, water's just perfect, pretty much. Except for obviously, I don't think I've ever had the tap water in McMinnville, so that makes sense. But yeah. But I was in like St. George, Utah, for a while. Their water's just terrible.
Really?
Like, yeah, Utah water's just terrible. Absolutely terrible. It's got so many minerals in it. It's very hard water. So I know that I think Bryce, he says when he's off at college, I think the tap water there is not very good in Idaho either.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's certain areas where, you know, it's just not good.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's not poison.
Yeah. It's funny when I went to like when I was in Reno, I went to a Subway down there,
out of control.
And I was talking briefly with one of the sandwich makers there, and I had mentioned I was asking her how much the sales tax was because we don't have sales tax here in Oregon.
Mutating further.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Oh, now we have a new threat to deal with.
Yes, we do.
It's so like
that pod.
The next is like murdering the next thing.
To the ones Ivy used to attack Gotham last year.
They're deadly. The firefighters or whatever, the police are getting murdered by the psychopaths, and the psychopaths are getting murdered by the crazy plants.
Yep.
But yeah, I asked her how much the
that did nothing.
I asked her how much the sales tax was, just to see, and I can't remember exactly how much it was, but she's like, "Oh, well, where'd you come from in Oregon?" I was like, "Oh, it's like Salem, like the Salem area." She's like, "Where's that?" And I was like, Nevada, right? There's not a whole lot of cities, right? So like, I would imagine they're probably more focused on California, but to not know where like Salem is,
that's it's not like it's our capital.
Most people, I'm like, oh yeah, I had to say like, oh yeah, it's like an hour south of Portland. It's
so crazy. Oh, hi. Get off.
Oh man. But it's so funny how people know like Portland I live in Portland, so it's, not a big deal, but like
right.
It's the way I like to describe it is sort of like with the United States. Ow. Salem is sort of like Washington, D.C., in that it's the state capital. It's the capital of, like, the country. But Portland is more like New York City.
I suppose, yeah.
So, like, it's the financial and, like, cultural hub of Oregon, whereas Salem is more like Washington, D.C. So,
yeah,
that doesn't surprise me that people aren't really aware of that. That happens a lot in larger states. You know, I'm failing to come up with examples, but
that's all right.
That's probably the best example I could have. And it actually makes a lot of sense to have, like, a city that's like your political capital, and then a city that's like your financial and cultural capital. So, kind of spreads things, especially when you're a larger country. So,
yeah.
But anywho's, I forgot what the main topic of ours. So bad water.
Just water, yeah.
So I imagine this is what, kind of near New York State, I would imagine. Is the water bad in New York?
I don't know. I've never been there.
I would imagine the water's probably pretty bad. Because there's so many people living there. How could they, you know...
Right, that makes sense, I suppose.
They'd probably be, like, starving for good water sources. But, so... what are we doing here?
Honestly, I'm not 100% sure, but that's where the map said to go.
So I imagine we're going to have to fight
Talk
Ivy.
To Aaron Cash, okay.
Yeah. So Ivy is probably going to go mad with power.
Something like that. Oh, I remember what we're doing. We got to get into the
Killer Croc's lair.
Killer Croc's lair underground.
Okay.
Yeah. She's taken over this mansion.
Well, I say we just let her have it.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is where we need to go, though.
I mean, really, like, what reason do we have to, like, make this an insane asylum again, you know? Look how much work this would take just to, like...
to fix? Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's one of the... Yeah. I mean, because there's no way that anybody has enough money to, like, fix all these problems. They'd have to be, like... Because, I mean, just look at, like, all these poisonous plants, right?
Yeah.
Like, no worker crew. This is an OSHA violation.
That's...
the
one word for it.
Does Batman work for the city? Uh-oh.
That didn't.
Oh.
That didn't work out.
It almost worked. Almost.
No, Batman does not work for the city. He's just rich dude.
Do you think Batman could sue the city for, you know, being in dangerous...
No, because he's breaking the law right now.
Oh, because he's a vigilante.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't think he could get away with anything along those lines.
Yeah, that's sort of weird that he's in that kind of, like, legal gray zone, where he's, like, literally doing good, but technically he's...
I'll take it.
Breaking the law.
Right. There are times where that's... come on. I wanted to stand on the railing. I guess that's not an option.
No.
There are times when they consider it a very bad thing, and other times when they kind of allow it. This is a period in his career where they're okay with it.
Yeah. I guess it's sort of like...
Okay, I can go over.
It's hard to write... Oh.
Why?
It's hard to write a convincing villain who, like, works for the state, if that makes sense. Or works for, like, the city or something. Or works for, like, the political organization that, like, maintains the city. Because, like... something that's so overtly good, like, say, like the Avatar in the in the Last Airbender, like in Bossing Say, the whole arc where there's basically like the Gestapo, essentially Long Fang or something,
without realizing.
And so he's like, I have to make sure that the Avatar doesn't like ruin the city or something, but it's like he's the Avatar.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird that, like, the Avatar is seen as, like, this universal good thing, and yet you consider yourself, like, an enemy of the Avatar just 'cause. You know, it's I don't know. Like, it's, like, how can you really make the argument that the Avatar was doing bad? I guess he's convinced himself that, like, Bossing Say needs to, you know, he needs to go full Gestapo, but it's, I don't know, it's still... It's strange to think that somebody could get into that headspace, you know? So...
Yeah. Okay.
So close. Okay, you did it.
Just barely made it.
They're just kind of hanging out.
Hey
Batman.
guys.
Let's
Cash
talk
is who I
to.
was looking
I
for.
figured you'd be here about now. What's the
Really?
deal with the plants?
It's complicated.
Poison Ivy.
Oh man.
She teamed up with Joker.
All that
Not
matters
so
is
complicated.
that I can stop the plants taking over the island, but
There's always a but, isn't there?
where do you keep Killer Croc? I found a door in the sewers, but it's sealed shut.
That monster's got his own special cell. It's right below the transfer room back in intensive treatment. Elevator goes right down to an old sewer. We just drop meat down there every day or so and try to forget about it. It's locked off. More security than the Joker. You won't get in without the warden's permission. He has the codes.
Thanks, Cash. Stay here and do not go near the plants. They'll kill you.
Surprised he hasn't gone near the plants already. Are we gonna talk to that dude?
No, I'm just gonna look at the map.
Oh, okay.
Center of the island.
Yeah, I mean, at this
Alright.
point, I'd probably just like try to evacuate everybody and then just like bomb the place. I mean, there's no reason to like save it, you know.
Yeah, Joker's not letting us evacuate though. He had his people plant bombs in the main city. They go off if we try.
Or so he says.
Yeah, but it's Joker.
He could have.
He
yeah.
probably really did it.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have to exit, which is not going to be easier.
Ah. Well, I mean, it's just a simple matter of going back the way you came. I mean, it's
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't say it was going to be harder, just not easier.
is that?
I essentially have to pick a side until I hit a wall, and then
Yeah, and then
go to the
yeah.
other side. Okay.
Oh, okay. I was like,
The stairs are just high enough.
I was like, are you gonna? Uh-oh. Is this an?
This is the way we came. I just
Okay.
have to get out. Oh, that's right, it was out.
Aha!
I forgot.
It is a good thing that all this. So that's basically like the drug was synthesized. The Titan drug or whatever was synthesized so that it could float in the air and help the plants grow big.
There's something
Is
like
that because I mean, if that's the case, then why isn't it affecting Batman whenever he falls into it? Other than just making him, you know.
Maybe. I think that that fog is being given off by the plants.
Oh, is it? Okay,
I think so.
that makes sense. Okay, so it's like a poisonous fog
Yeah.
that doesn't kill you instantly. I mean, normally with like plants like this, like you.
Ugh.
Wow. Okay, that traveled forever.
Yeah, that was a lot more distance than I was expecting. What is in here? Oh, a
Riddler trophy?
I walked right past it. Okay. Where the heck am I going?
Well, at least we don't have to deal with the psychopaths in this area. So we should probably call the episode here.
Oh, okay.
Make sure that we're safe from the killer plants.
Looks like
Yeah, I think we're fine.
Okay.
So this is Frakbox.
This is TruBluBlur.
Have a great day.
Keep on running fast.